All right, so let's now look at how to take these splines and turn them into three-dimensional volumes. And the simplest way to do that is probably with an extrude modifier, okay? So, and just a reminder, when I say create or modify, I'm talking about this up in the upper right corner, create tab and modify tab, okay? Not create and modify over on the upper left of the main menu. I never go up here, ever. It's just like everything is over here in the modify list, and the modifier stack is right there. 3ds Max is sometimes referred to as a stack-based 3D program, as opposed to maybe node-based, which objects and their parameters and modifiers are set up like in a flow chart. This is more like a stack. But anyway, so let me first create a spline. Actually, I think I'm just going to turn off all these grid lines just so there's not so much visual garbage. If I just hit G and right click on each viewport and hit G on each one, all right, that simplifies things a little bit. And I'm only going to create the splines in the front viewport, right? I'll just make a star for, I guess that's a good example. Okay, so star you drag once and then you drag again. Yeah, this will work. So then I'm going to go to modify, right? And here's the parameters of the star, which, okay, of the spline, where I could change whatever I want. And I'm going to put an extrude modifier on this. So I'm going to go here and scroll down until I find extrude. Okay, there it is. All right, so now I'm in the modifier stack, which we've talked about before, right? And I can be down in the star level or up in the extrude level. And if I don't have show end result on, it'll drop down. I'll see just the spine, and I got to. And as I move up and down in the stack, I'll only see where I am. Okay. If I have show end result on, it always shows the end result. I usually work with this turned on as my personal default. All right. So here we are with an extrude on here, but there's no amount to the extrusion. So I'm just going to drag up on that. Okay. It happens that the way I've set this up, if I drag down into negative, it goes that way. Okay. And if I drag up into positive, it goes this way. I'm just going to drag down. Okay. And again, I like the way I normally work because I click and hold down the spinner, right? And I drag up and down to get what I want. All right. You can click on the spinner, you know, one click at a time. You can type in whatever number you want, -75. But click and drag on this. And also, I actually don't remember offhand because I don't use these that often, but if you hold down like Control or Alt, you can make this, when you drag on the spinner, you can make it go faster or slower. So we did it. We made a volume with the shape, okay? And the number of segments is 1 at the moment. If I drag up on this, you can see I can make more or less segments, all right? For this shape, for this volume, you don't want more segments, right? Because we're extruding is making straight lines. There's no reason to divide that piece up into a bunch of smaller pieces, right? It just makes your artwork more complex for no benefit. Unless I was trying to put like a bend or a twist modifier on this thing, and I wanted it to, you know, twist along this axis, then maybe I want the segments. But for something like this, no. All right. So we extruded a thing. Let's try to do a somewhat more complicated piece, right? So I'm just going to delete this altogether. Again, make sure I'm in the front viewport. Let's try to extrude a star with a circular hole in it. So I'm going to create a star again. And I'll go to circle, right? And I'm going to turn off start new shape. So then when I draw new splines, right, they'll be included as part of this as a compound line. Now, I'm going to draw a few circles in there. I'm keeping them inside. Then if I go to extrude, you can also just type in, you know, EX, and it takes me right to extrude. And let's see what we got here. Look at it. You know, I draw the splines in the flat viewport, but I usually look at it in the perspective viewport. Okay. Don't like that color, so I'm going to change it to something else. All right, and that worked. You didn't have to do like you may recall in the last video, we were doing the Boolean where we were subtracting the circle from the star. And you don't have to do that for this. For the way extrude works is it just alternates, right, between positive and negative volumes. So like, for example, if I go and delete this extrude modifier off here, and I'll go and create new, and I'll put another circle inside here. Sorry, turned off start new shape, and I'll put a circle here. Now, if I make a circle that intersects the edge of the star, that's more problematic. It's going to be a positive shape on the outside and a negative shape on the inside with some funky intersections. So I'm going to just not do that. Anyway, and then extrude. Probably should be wearing reading glasses. And yeah, you can see that now it made a nice. Okay, so extrude is relatively straightforward. When we do lathe, that's a little bit more complex. Let's make another shape. So I'm going to delete this. And let's go to, in our front viewport, let's go to line and try to draw something. All right. Maybe like a rough arrow shape. Whatever. And then go and put an extrude on there, EX. All right. So I guess there's not too much to say about it. Obviously, if I was doing this in real life, I would have drawn that nice and square and you know, straight instead of all at a weird angle like this. But yeah, we're just demonstrating. Let's go on next to lathe, because that's a little bit more in depth.